Long ago, there were 4 kingdoms side by side. Each kingdom had its own special color: blue, yellow, red, and green. Their castles, houses, knights, and even horses glowed in their colors. The kings were proud and thought they were the greatest of all. Rivers divided them, but high walls kept them apart even more. From above, the kingdoms looked like shining jewels in a magical land. This was the beginning of a story about pride, conflict, and peace. The Blue Kingdom was calm and mighty. Its tall blue castle stood proudly in the sunlight. The Blue King had a round face and wore shining blue armor with a bright helmet. His strong blue horse stood proudly at the gates. Blue knights marched behind him, their armor sparkling. The streets were filled with banners and flags waving in the wind. Everything here glowed with the deep, calm color of blue. Across the river shone the Yellow Kingdom. Its castle glittered like gold under the bright sun. The Yellow King, with his long face, wore golden armor and a glowing helmet. His yellow horse shined like sunlight, standing tall beside him. Yellow knights in shining armor marched through golden gates. Flags of gold waved in the sky. The entire kingdom glowed warmly like a sunlit morning. The Red Kingdom was bold and fiery. Its castle rose high, glowing like flames in the setting sun. The Red King, with a stern face, wore bright red armor and a shining red helmet. His powerful red horse stomped the ground, eager for battle. Red knights in blazing armor stood ready at the gates. Red flags flew proudly in the wind. Everything burned with the fierce and strong color of red. The Green Kingdom was peaceful and full of life. Its emerald castle sparkled like a jewel in the forest. The Green King, with his soft face, wore bright green armor and a shining helmet. His green horse stood calmly beside him, its mane flowing like grass. Green knights in emerald armor stood proudly at the gates. Banners of green danced in the wind. Everything shone with the fresh, lively color of nature. The 4 kingdoms were separated by wide, shining rivers. The rivers sparkled under the sunlight, keeping the lands apart. Each kingdom guarded its own side, never crossing the waters. Blue knights stood by the river's edge in their armor. Yellow, red, and green knights did the same on their sides. Horses drank from the rivers, reflecting their kingdom's colors. The water was calm, but the kingdom's hearts were not. Each kingdom had tall fortress walls rising to the sky. The walls were painted in the colors of their lands. Blue walls stood solid and calm. Yellow walls gleamed brightly like the sun. Red walls glowed fiercely like fire. Green walls blended with nature like emerald leaves. Knights guarded these walls proudly, holding banners in their colors. Horses stood beside them, armored and loyal. The 4 kings were not friends. Each king thought his kingdom was stronger than the rest. The Blue King crossed his arms and frowned. The Yellow King lifted his head proudly. The Red King glared with a stern face. The Green King shook his head softly but proudly. Behind each king stood their knights and their strong horses. Anger grew between them day by day. One bright morning, something magical happened. A beautiful white dove flew across the skies. Its wings sparkled like light as it circled above the four kingdoms. Slowly, the dove landed in the meadow where the kingdoms met. The kings saw the dove from their castles. Their knights and horses turned their eyes to it. Nobody had ever seen such a pure bird before. The moment the dove landed, the four kings shouted. Each king claimed the dove belonged to him. "This bird is mine!" shouted the blue king. "No, it belongs to me!" cried the yellow king. The red king and green king joined too, their voices rising. Their knights and horses looked at one another in confusion. The peaceful bird just stood quietly, glowing in the sunlight. The blue king orders his armored knights to prepare for battle. They mount their majestic blue horses, shining under the sunlight. The yellow kingdom gathers its golden army, with knights raising their yellow shields high. The red knights march in rows, their crimson armor glowing fiercely. The green army rides forward proudly, their emerald horses neighing with strength. All four armies march toward the riverbanks, determined to claim the dove. The air is tense as the clash seems unavoidable. The mighty rivers ripple between the kingdoms, separating the armies. Each king stands on his side of the river, staring angrily across at the others. Horses stamp their hoofs, eager to charge. The knights raise their colorful weapons high, making the scene glow with blue, yellow, red, and green reflections on the water. The dove still rests calmly, unbothered by the chaos around. The armies wait for their ruler's commands. The four kings shout across the rivers, each claiming the dove as his own. Their voices echo angrily through the valley. Soldiers cheer for their leaders, ready to fight. The kings point their swords toward the center where the dove rests. Yet the dove only tilts its head gently, as if amused by their quarrels. The world seems split between peace and war. Huge drums begin to beat in every kingdom, shaking the earth with their rhythm. The blue, yellow, red, and green soldiers pound their weapons on their shields. Horses neigh, stamping in unison. The sky grows darker, clouds gathering above. The dove looks upward as if sensing something important is about to happen. The kings raise their hands, signaling the armies to be ready. Each kingdom takes position on its own tall hill, standing proudly above the river that separates them. The Blue Kingdom soldiers in shiny blue armor load their bright blue cannonballs. Across the river, the Yellow Kingdom raises golden cannons, preparing glowing yellow shots. On another hill, the Red Kingdom knights ignite fiery red cannonballs, flames dancing on their armor. Opposite them, the Green Kingdom stands strong, ready to launch glowing emerald green fire. The air shakes as all four kingdoms fire at the same time, and colorful cannonballs fly across the sky. The river glitters below, reflecting the chaos of war about to happen. The cannons tilt upward, aiming at the sky. Soldiers step back, covering their ears. Horses rear up nervously, sensing the power of the weapons. The kings smile proudly, thinking their color will dominate. The dove still sits quietly, blinking its bright eyes. A hush falls before the storm. At the same moment, all four kings shout their commands. Cannons blast, shaking the earth. Bright blue, yellow, red, and green cannonballs soar into the sky. Horses neigh and knights cheer as their colors fly upward. The smoke of different colors mixes together. The dove takes flight, circling above the chaos. The glowing cannonballs soar higher and higher until they collide in the middle of the sky. The explosion shakes the earth, lighting up the valley. Horses panic but are quickly calmed by their knights. The kings stare in shock as the colors swirl together. The sound echoes like thunder, but no destruction follows. The sky glimmers with magic. From the blast emerges a magnificent rainbow stretching across the sky. The soldiers lower their weapons, stunned by its beauty. Horses calm down, gazing at the shining arc. The kings look at each other, speechless for the first time. The rainbow glows brighter, filling the valley with light. The dove glides happily under it. The rainbow's magic spills over the land. Soldiers notice their armor shimmering with rainbow hues. Horses' manes sparkle with colorful light. Even the king's helmets start to change color. Everyone looks at themselves in disbelief. The dove circles above as if guiding the transformation. Peaceful music seems to fill the air. Each king's once single-colored armor now shines with every shade of the rainbow. Their helmets glitter like gemstones. Horses beneath them sparkle with rainbow light. The kings no longer look angry but amazed. The soldiers cheer, inspired by their ruler's new look. The rainbow reflects in the river waters, uniting all colors. The soldiers lower their weapons, cheering in joy. Knights from different kingdoms cross the rivers to greet each other. Horses neigh happily, no longer tense. The rainbow light makes everyone smile. The kings watch proudly as their people begin to unite. The dove flaps its wings, pleased with the harmony. Suddenly, children from the 4 kingdoms run into the field. They laugh, play, and chase each other under the rainbow. Some climb onto the horses who carry them gently. The knights watch with smiles, realizing peace means a brighter future for the little ones. The kings nod proudly at the sight of their children together. The battlefield has truly turned into a playground. The kings climb onto a small hill together. Raising their swords high, they declare peace for all time. Soldiers cheer loudly, lifting their helmets into the air. Horses neigh in agreement, stamping their hooves with pride. The rainbow glows so brightly, it feels alive. The dove circles above, carrying the promise of peace into the future. As the kings lower their swords, the rainbow bends downward and forms a glowing crown of light. The crown floats about all 4 kings, symbolizing their shared rule. Soldiers kneel, honoring their leader's unity. Horses bow their heads gracefully. The rainbow crown sparkles, sending beams of light across the kingdoms. Everyone knows this day will be remembered forever. The soldiers carry a large flag made of 4 colors: blue, yellow, red, and green. Together, they plant it in the center of the field where the battle once raged. The flag waves proudly under the rainbow sky. Horses gather around the pole, their manes glowing in the light. Knights cheer, raising their swords in salute. The kings smile, knowing their kingdoms are now one. A magical rainbow bridge forms between the 4 hills where the kingdoms once stood apart. Soldiers and children cross the bridge, meeting in the middle.
Horses walk gently across, carrying supplies and gifts. The bridge glows with every step, as if alive with joy. Trumpets sound, marking the beginning of a new era. No one is divided anymore. The bridge unites them forever.
At nightfall, the kingdoms celebrate by releasing glowing lanterns into the sky. Thousands of lights float upward, painting the night with warmth. The rainbow still glows faintly among the stars, guiding the lanterns higher. Horses watch peacefully as the soldiers and children release their lanterns. The kings release the largest lantern together, symbolizing everlasting unity. The sky becomes a canvas of light and hope. Music fills the air as knights and villagers begin dancing together. Each kingdom's people wear their colors, but now they mix and hold hands in harmony. Horses prance around the circle as if joining the dance. The kings clap to the beat, laughing with their people. Torches light up the field, casting a golden glow. Joy has replaced war forever.
As dawn breaks, the four kings ride together on their horses to the top of a hill. Behind them, soldiers, children, and families follow, waving the united flag. The sun rises, shining through the rainbow, which becomes brighter than ever. The dove reappears, flying into the horizon with golden light. This is the eternal rainbow, the symbol of their unbreakable peace.